Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about one of the most intriguing new anime releases of the year. Gachiakuta. If you haven't heard of it yet, you're not alone. A lot of people only discovered it when episode 1 premiered on July 6th. But this series has been building serious buzz in the manga community for a while now. And after watching the first episode, I can see exactly why. So let's break down episode 1 in detail. No spoilers past this episode, and talk about what makes Gachaikuta different from your typical dark fantasy anime. First off, what exactly is Gachiakuta? This isn't your average shonen. The story comes from Kei Urana, who started the manga back in 2022. Urana's art style is gritty, messy in the best way, and heavily inspired by graffiti. He actually collaborated with a real graffiti artist named Hideyoshi Ando to help design the look of the series. You can feel that influence everywhere in the anime adaptation. Every alley, every scrap of rusted metal feels alive with texture. If you've ever read Dorohedoro, you know what I mean. The world itself feels like a living, breathing place that's been through hell. Episode 1 sets the tone immediately. We meet Rudo, this teenage scavenger just trying to get by in the slums under the sphere. The sphere is basically a floating utopia. If you're lucky enough to be born up there, you have clean streets and security. If not, you're stuck below, digging through garbage to survive. Rudo's life is far from glamorous. He spends his days collecting junk and dodging guards who treat him like he's less than human. But what struck me most is that he isn't bitter. He's got this quiet resilience. You can see it in how he talks to Recto, the old man who raised him. Recto isn't his blood relative, but he's the closest thing Rudo has to family. Their relationship is tender in a way that caught me off guard, especially for a series this dark. One of my favorite scenes in the episode is when Rudo comes home to their little shack. Even though they live surrounded by trash, Recto has made the place feel like a home. There's this sense that they're trying to hold on to something human in a world that wants to dehumanize them. This detail reminded me a lot of Made in Abyss. That series also shows a society split into layers, and the people at the bottom are just left to fend for themselves. But where Made in Abyss balances its darkness with childlike curiosity, Gachiakuta is harsher and more direct. There's no pretense that life here is an adventure. Then the story takes a brutal turn. Rudo comes home one day to find Recto lying dead. It's a genuinely shocking moment. The one person who made his life bearable is just gone. And before he can even process it, the guards storm in and pin the murder on him. No questions, no investigation, they just decide he's guilty. It's that easy to erase someone when the system already sees them as trash. This is where I think Gachiakuta hits harder than a lot of similar series. In something like Attack on Titan, there's at least the idea that you can fight back against the forces crushing you. Here, in episode 1, Rudo has no chance. The injustice is so mundane, it's terrifying. The trial scene is short and devastating. They drag Rudo in front of a judge who doesn't care. He barely looks at him before sentencing him to disposal. It's such a cold word, but it sums up how the sphere views people from the slums. They're just waste to be thrown away. And then we come to the most powerful scene of the entire episode. Rudo is led to the edge of the sphere. All that's waiting for him is the pit, a bottomless abyss full of humanity's discarded junk, and maybe worse things lurking inside. There's something almost ritualistic about how they shove him off. The guards don't even look angry, they're just doing their jobs. That's what makes it feel so real. In this world, cruelty isn't loud, it's bureaucratic. As Rudo falls, we see the scale of the pit for the first time. Mountains of broken machines, rusted metal, and swirling shadows, and in the darkness, a huge shape shifts. A monstrous presence we don't get a clear look at yet. That final image is what stuck with me. It's not just about surviving the fall, it's about what's waiting when you hit the bottom. So let's talk a little more about Rudo himself. From what episode 1 shows us, he's not a chosen one or some secret prince. He's just a kid who grew up scavenging, who learned to find value in the things other people threw away. Recto taught him to respect every object and every life, no matter how broken. You can feel how deeply that shaped him. He's stubborn, but he's not cruel. He doesn't steal more than he needs, and he doesn't take out his anger on people weaker than him. That's what makes it so crushing when the system finally grinds him down, because you know, he never had a chance to be anything else. And if you're wondering whether Gachiakuta is worth your time, here's my honest take. If you're into glossy feel-good stories, this probably isn't it. But if you like anime that feels raw and unpolished in a good way, it's absolutely worth checking out. The art style is phenomenal. The pacing is tight. Episode 1 doesn't waste a single minute. And there's this undercurrent of rage and sadness that feels real in a way a lot of dark fantasy doesn't. It reminded me a little of Dorohedoro in how it mixes squalor with flashes of humanity and like Made in Abyss. It asks whether some systems are too broken to ever be fixed. As for the manga, it's been running in Weekly Shonen magazine since early 2022. Kei Urana's work quickly built a following because it doesn't look or feel like most shonen. It's messier, more street level, and unafraid to show how ugly the world can be. And you can tell the anime is committed to preserving that energy. Before we wrap up, here's what you can expect next. No spoilers, but the next episode picks up right where this cliffhanger ends. We're going to see what's really inside the pit, and whether Rudo has the will to survive it. Trust me, it only gets more intense from here. That's it for this deep dive into Gachiakuta Episode 1. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please drop a like and subscribe. I'll be covering every episode and doing more comparisons with dark fantasy series you might love. Thanks so much for watching, and let me know in the comments, what did you think of Gachiakuta's first episode? Did it live up to the hype for you? See you in the next one.